Welcome to the IntraZone Roadmap Pit Stop January 2025 edition. This is a bonus monthly show that answers that burning question in your mind. What's rolling out now for SharePoint and related technology in Microsoft 365? I'm Mark Cashman, Senior Product Manager at Microsoft, here to help set the ongoing record straight. This month, we grabbed a few important audio snippets from the BIG SharePoint event with Jeff Teper and the SharePoint team. You'll hear details from Jeff about SharePoint, the app and platform in the AI era, and then from CJ Tan and Melissa Torres about SharePoint agents and pages, respectively. Beyond the breadth of the SharePoint event, we'll focus on everything that landed this month, a few related items, and the always fun teasers looking into next month. This podcast is your 30-minute pit stop to stay ahead of the ever-curving Microsoft 365 roadmap. Now, before we get into recent releases, I wanted to share those few audio those highlights from the recent SharePoint event. The event was titled From Concept to Creation to Impact, where the team shined a light on all the intranet and AI goodness SharePoint has to offer within Microsoft 365. You're going to hear from three SharePoint product makers. First, Jeff Teper framing SharePoint as an application and platform with emphasis on the role AI now plays across the site and pages experiences. Second, CJ Tan talks about refining SharePoint agents within the built-in Copilot Studio experience. And third, you'll hear Melissa Torres on how Copilot in SharePoint is there to help when creating news articles, saving time, and leveraging existing content. So, without further ado, here's Jeff framing SharePoint as an app and platform.
We're driven to make SharePoint both the best platform for managing content for AI and the best application for using AI to help every person in an organization. And we're doing that through Microsoft 365 Copilot and agents. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your personal assistant that is grounded from the content you have access to in SharePoint, making Copilot helpful and secure across Microsoft 365. At Microsoft Ignite, we announced the general availability of SharePoint agents, tailored assistance for key content sets, HR, finance, R&D, and more. So just as SharePoint transformed intranet creation, we're doing the same with agents, making it easy and secure for everyone to create and share in seconds, enabling your organization to unlock its knowledge and embrace AI innovation.
Here's CJ Tan on SharePoint agents.
The agent is already grounded in the completed project plans. And the majority of the configurations for this agent will ensure that the identity is clear about its purpose and its intended use. The instructions, however, are where I can express how this agent should behave. This agent is directed to help draft a proposal using the completed project documents for its knowledge and producing an output in a specific format. Now, when I save and close the builder, you can see the agent is a file in the document library saved right next to that folder.
And Melissa Torres on using Copilot in SharePoint.
Our new Create with Copilot experience gives you a range of templates to choose from. Or you can start from the prompt as well. I can choose from the templates, make some modifications to the pre-generated prompt to ensure I get the sections of the page that I want. You can easily give Copilot existing documents to work with. And just like that, get a visually stunning, professional-looking, and fully populated page.
Okay, you heard it from Jeff, CJ, and Melissa. In all, the event showed and shared a lot of what you can do with SharePoint sites, pages, news, and the new assistance from Copilot, including those valuable SharePoint agents. To watch the event and access all the new resources, we created a microsite so you can watch and learn all in one place. It's a microsite. You're going to find the full event replay as expected. This is the main broadcast with Jeff, CJ, and Melissa, plus the full Ask Microsoft Anything AMA that was immediately after. There's also a new 5-part SharePoint learning series. These are demo-rich videos from the product makers themselves. There are 3 new customer stories, Ami, Takeda, and Avanade, across what they're doing with their SharePoint-based intranet implementations and the use of SharePoint agents. There's also info about the upcoming SharePoint Hackathon, including the 6-part webinar series that will start early March 2025, and there's a lot. It's a great microsite. It brings it all together, all in one place, all from one link, and that link is aka.ms/SharePoint event. Again, that's aka.ms/SharePoint event. Now it is time to kick back and get informed about all the tech that rolled out in January 2025, starting with employee engagement, that one-to-many opportunity that you have with the technology at your back to help you get the word out to everyone, or at least a lot of people, to do those broader communications. And we'll start with Viva Connections, now appearing on the SharePoint app bar, which makes me say, bartender, Viva Connections on the rocks, intranet cocktails for everyone. And maybe the bartender will say, yes, Mr. Cashman. Yes, Mr. Cashman. Right away, Mr. Cashman. That's right. There is a new entry point for Viva Connections on the SharePoint app bar. This is a universal navigation element that you see when you're in SharePoint on a SharePoint site, and in this case, enhancing the integration between your broader intranet and Viva Connections. The new entry point sits alongside existing SharePoint app bar navigation elements like global navigation, My Sites, My News, My Files, My Lists, and the Create experience. For everyone in your organization, they will see and have a seamless way to go to Viva Connections from any SharePoint site. This feature will only be available to customers who have configured a published dashboard and an enabled Viva Connections experience on their tenants. This feature will be on by default if you have configured it in that way. Next up is the new use of the pay-as-you-go billing model for SharePoint agents. We're introducing a pay-as-you-go, also referred to as PayG, a billing model that allows organizations to use an Azure subscription to pay for the SharePoint agent service based on the numbers of queries used. With this update, admins can now provide users without Copilot licenses the ability to use and create agents on any SharePoint site or document library that they have access to. Users with Microsoft 365 Copilot seat licenses can continue to use SharePoint agents according to their licensing terms. To use agents in SharePoint from a pay-as-you-go perspective, admins must first set up billing and activate the service in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. An Azure subscription and resource group are required to set up the pay-as-you-go building. Note, the use of PayG to allow unlicensed users to utilize SharePoint agents will respect any controls in place to manage Copilot within the organization. All right, for this next one, I've got a little song to kick us off. Did you ever know you are my hero? You're every portal I wish I could be. Oh, I could fly higher than a home page, for you are the wind beneath my sights. Thank you, Bette Midler, for the inspiration, and I hope I didn't butcher that too bad for Bette's sake and yours. But you might have guessed it by now, SharePoint now has a reimagined hero web part, bringing a new carousel layout to SharePoint pages and news. True heroics, if you ask me. This new layout features a slideshow and a selection of new styles with imagery, bold text, and a call to action, creating a more engaging page experience. Now authors can create eagle-eye catching carousel slides in any section type, with up to 5 slides in the carousel layout that you can beautifully highlight key content. You can choose from between 3 new styles, and it supports Clipchamp stream videos to make the page more appealing and media-rich. So why stop at touching the sky when you can soar into the cloud? Let's talk about an update to another web part, and not in the least less heroic. The Viva Engage leadership feed is now available to feature when using the Viva Engage Conversations web part. The leaders feed sits alongside the previous feed choices you select to program the web part when you go in a page edit mode. You'll see the community feed, the user feed, a topic feed, the home feed, and now the leaders feed. Once the feed is viewable, it's functional too, including the ability to ask questions, get answers, and share best practices. A couple of licensing notes: the end user experience of the leaders feed does depend on the license status. So users with either a Viva Suite or a Viva Employee Communications and Communities license will see content from their Leadership Corner feed. Users without a Viva Suite or a Viva Employee Communications and Communities license will see content from their home feed. So, a couple of web parts, one more to go. This one's a new web part, and it's a really nice one when you see it in action. This web part is called the Editorial card web part, and you can use it on SharePoint pages and news posts. This is one of those simple and powerful web parts. You can showcase content in an engaging card format with advanced background and content settings. Unlike automated web parts like news and events, this new editorial card allows you to manually tailor the content and how it's presented. You choose a background image, add a category name, type a headline, add descriptive text, and light up an actionable hyperlinked button with text that you can fill out on top of the button. You can also choose from 3 layout options for the image overlay as a color block or a cool split view. That's the one that I've used a couple of times, where you can see a picture on the left or the right and then the actual written content, not as an overlay. So editorialize your comms to your heart's content. It helps to communicate the heart of your content, and using this editorial web part, it looks pretty snazzy too. There's a lot of nice web parts that you can use, and it's really exciting to see the team continuing to invest in existing and new web parts. The team has designed a new accessibility assistant tool to help content creators meet accessibility standards when authoring SharePoint pages and news posts. This tool provides checks and brief guidance to help ensure pages are inclusive and accessible to a broader audience. Authors can initiate an accessibility test while editing a page by selecting the accessibility assistant icon from the right vertical toolbar. As you work within the Accessibility Assistant, it guides you to address accessibility issues in the specific web parts, of which the following web parts are supported: the banner web part, text, image, hero, and the quick links web part. Accessibility is all about removing barriers and providing the benefits of technology, and your internal communications will be made for everyone, at least more of everyone, because those accessibility capabilities really do make your content more available to a broader set of individuals. So it's great to see the team giving you a tool within reach to be more inclusive. And with that, we move on to teamwork. And we're going to start with one that has gotten a lot of claps at a lot of events. It's a really fun one to see in action, and it's even more fun to use it yourself. It is SharePoint pages are getting flexible sections. You want more control where you place this or that on the SharePoint page canvas? Well, you got it. Flexible sections are a new section type that allow page authors to build without strict column structure. You will see a new option when adding a section to a page called Flexible. Within a flexible section, users can drag and drop web parts anywhere on the grid. Web parts will snap to the closest grid line when moved, and you can resize the web parts themselves. A note here, card-based web parts such as quick links, people, or hero only have 4 different width options: full width, 1/3 the canvas width, 1/2 the canvas width, and 2/3 the canvas width. These web parts can only be resized to one of those 4 options. Non-card-based web parts such as text, image, and file and media can be resized to any width on the grid. The flexibility of flexible sections allows change for you to make the arrangement in an overlapping way, web parts overlapping other web parts. You can multi-select web parts and group web parts and drag and drop a new section template from the content pane toolbox. and keep on arranging things until they are just right with greater flexibility. Flexible sections are available for use in SharePoint and Viva Amplify, which, as you know, or maybe you don't, are based on the SharePoint Pages platform. So, of course, that capability with new Pages capability flows into Viva Amplify. And now the last item is for admins, so you can manage whether you see people during the co-authoring on a Microsoft Lists list or not. A new admin control for Microsoft Lists allows you to hide the real-time list collaborators at the site collection level. So based on a lot of customer feedback regarding privacy, admins can now run the PowerShell command set-spo site-identity-hide people who have lists open $true. Maybe not the best way to read a PowerShell commandlet, but when you use this, it will disable the feature on a per site collection basis, so users can no longer see who is working on the list at the same time, and the list still supports the ability to co-author with others, just minimizes the visibility of your co-authors on that site's lists. The visibility of people in a list is on by default. Now with an admin's control via PowerShell, you can configure it to be off. Or like the Karate Kid might try to instruct you, people on, people off, people on, people off. And wait till you see our crane kick feature that is coming up relatively shortly. But now you have greater control in the visibility of who's working on a list. All right, that moves us into related items. And the first related items is a Microsoft Teams feature, their new DVR capabilities for town halls, applicable to both desktop and web. In 1999, there was TiVo. In 2025, there was Teams DVR. This new feature will allow town hall attendees, again on Windows desktop or on the web, to interact with a live streaming town hall in the same way that you would interact with recorded content. You can pause or move forward or back in a town hall and navigate to any previous timestamp. This feature is available for Teams town halls from all organizers, regardless of the license assigned to that organizer. You'll see the DVR controls when you hover your mouse over the content being presented in the town hall. And when you're done jumping around, you can catch up and join the live event by selecting the Watch Live button that brings you right to the present of the actual active live presentation. And it's right next to the volume control. It's a great new feature to take control of your viewing experience, to catch up, to skip around, and to stay informed in real time. Okay, moving on. Are there any storage trackers out there with concerns of what takes up space and how you can utilize storage better? Or in this case, use it automagically. Clipchamp now reduces file sizes for Microsoft Teams meeting recordings that are exported from Clipchamp. Due to the way Clipchamp encodes the file size of these exports can be larger than the original files. So to address this issue, the Clipchamp team implemented an algorithm to optimize the Teams meeting recording videos without compromising quality. Now, Teams meeting recordings exported from Clipchamp will be efficiently compressed, making them easier to store and to share. And since Clipchamp natively stores your video files on the SharePoint storage platform, this means less storage consumption across your Microsoft 365 tenant when it comes to the storage of Teams meetings video files. Or possibly one solution here is just hold fewer meetings. Wouldn't that be nice? But if you do hold a few meetings, just know the recordings and the space that they take up will be less. All right, let's get into the February 2025 teasers. We're going to move into the near future, one that predicts with high certainty the future that's just around the corner of our collective calendars. Here are two teasers for what's coming in February 2025. Teaser number 1, new preview mode for SharePoint pages and news posts. Pretty much says what it is. I'll have more to say next month. Teaser number 2, video creation in Copilot Visual Creator powered by Clipchamp. This is an exciting one. I bet just by the description or the title alone, you remember seeing this during Ignite and in any realm of what is Copilot going to do to help me in my video within my organization. This will be a really fun one. Video creation in Copilot within the Clipchamp experience. And that is it. This month's Peek Ahead is done. We'll share more details and other updates within the SharePoint Roadmap Pit Stop February 2025 edition next month. We added learn more links per feature plus a list of important resources in the show notes and in the corresponding blog post on the Microsoft Tech community published to the SharePoint community blog. I hope you've enjoyed this roadmap pit stop. Time to sit back, zip back on the track, and relax to know that you are all caught up. If anything still leaves you scratching your head with open questions or concerns, please send your thoughts to theinterzone@microsoft.com. We're here to put our and your best change management foot forward. We thank you for taking that step with us into the cloud month after month. This is Mark Cashman saying, first learn to stand, then learn to fly on the roadmap ahead.